Hey guys, what's up? This is Rajan, and today in this commentary I'm going to be telling you guys a little bit more about myself, so you guys can get to know me on a little bit more of a personal basis. And first thing I want to touch on is actually about the gameplay. We have a outside source who captures our gameplay. It's not myself, Adam, or Alex. So in the process of capturing, we realized that in between each round in this game, for some reason it switches the first person mode to person on the other team, and we don't know why it does this. So there's a little bit of commotion in between each round where our capturer is trying to locate me in the game so he can get to my first person. So his name will be in the description, so credit goes to him for capturing. Thank you very much. And so the reason why I'm bringing you this commentary today that's a little bit more about myself is that we believe here at Gamers for Change, or Invisible Gamers, that if we get to know each other in the gaming community, that is, if we all get to know each other on a more personal basis, hopefully a lot of hostility that's in the community will go away or will be remedied. Because if we get to know each other a little better, we come to realize that, we're not that different as people. We all play games for fun, and we love what we do as gamers, and hopefully this can bring us all closer together and make us a big, happy family. So, moving on. My full name is Rajan Vidula. I'm 18 years old. I'm currently a freshman at UC Davis here in California. And for those of you who don't know, UC Davis is part of the University of California system. It's in the same public school system that UC Berkeley or UCLA is in, just so you guys kind of know. I'm currently an undeclared major. I'm actually undeclared within the physical sciences. So what that means is basically that I'm really into math and science. So I picked an undeclared major within the physical sciences because it emphasizes a more math and science-based background. Still trying to choose what I want to do. I just started college actually a couple months ago, not even. So still have time. But I grew up in the Bay Area, which is about 2 hours away from Davis, and I grew up in a city called Fremont, California, and I had lived there my entire life. It's a pretty nice city. It's south of Oakland and north of San Jose, just so you guys kind of have a reference point if you guys have never heard of Fremont. And if you do live in Fremont, or you did live in Fremont, leave that in the comments, because that would be cool to find other gamers from Fremont. So moving on a little bit to my background as a gamer. I started gaming pretty young, around 7 or 8 years old, with PC games. My parents would buy educational video games for me, and I would play those. Can't really remember the names of any of them because, they're not really games that many people play. So, but yeah, that's kind of how I started gaming. The first console I played on was the N64. I never owned an N64 because my parents wouldn't let me have one. I asked them for it for Christmas, but Santa did not deliver. But anyways, so the first FPS I ever played was for the N64, GoldenEye. I bet many of you have played GoldenEye or heard of GoldenEye. That game was fantastic. And so some other games I played for the N64 were like Pokemon Snap and Super Smash Brothers. The first game that I got really serious about was Pokemon Gold for the Game Boy Color. And if I know the demographics here on YouTube, many of you are a few years older than me or a few years younger than me. So my guess is that a lot of you were into Pokemon at some point or are still into Pokemon. It was a big part of my childhood. I watched the TV show, and I played the games a lot. I have many hours logged onto all of the games that I have accumulated over the past 10 years or so. So good times with Pokemon. So the first console I actually owned was a PS2. My parents decided after a while that they would let me and my siblings try out video gaming. So instead of getting the next gen console from Nintendo, the GameCube, they got the PS2 for us, and first game I played for it was Gran Turismo 3, and that kind of sparked my my like for racing games, and from there after I got a PS2, I eventually got a GameCube, and I played a lot of Mario Kart Double Dash, and I got really, really good at the game. Probably spent too much time playing that. I also played an older game, an arcade game actually, called Cruisin' the World and Cruisin' USA, and I got very good at that game. So the first shooter that I got really into was a game called Enter the Matrix for the PS2. It was a third-person shooter based on the second Matrix movie in the Matrix trilogy, and looking back on it, it wasn't that great of a game, but I definitely had some good times playing it, just because I was so young and my judgment of how good a game was pretty poor. But nonetheless, there were some good times playing that game, and I want to hear from you guys if any of you have ever played Enter the Matrix. It's not that... I don't believe it's that well known, but if any of you guys did play it, definitely speak up and leave a comment if you did play it, because I have not met another person who has ever played that game, so it'd be very cool to hear from some of you guys who have ever played that. So, as you guys probably know, I'm big into Halo. I have been for the past 6 years. That's how long I've been playing the game. So I first figured out about the game from older cousins that I have who I would see playing Halo 1. And then I picked up Halo because in November of 2004, a couple of weeks after Halo 2 launched, my friend was having a birthday party, and he had an Xbox, and he decided to rent Halo 2 because he had heard about it and heard it was a pretty good game. And my friends and I picked it up and started playing, and good times ensued. That game was amazing, still is amazing. My friends and I, I had two friends who had Xboxes whose houses I would go over to play them, since I never had an Xbox until the 360 came out. I would always go over to their house and play. We'd make custom game types and just fool around, do crazy stuff that we saw in videos, super bounces, stuff like that. And we just had an all-around good time just playing with each other. And then both of my friends got Xbox Live, and we tried that out, and I sucked a lot. I didn't realize that there were so many good gamers out there, because anybody I played with was just my friends. So there was actually a period where my parents didn't allow me to play Halo because one of my friends who played Halo started getting into, how can I put this? He started getting into some shenanigans, as I'll call it. He started doing some pretty crazy stuff, and my parents thought that he was doing all this stuff because of violent video games, mainly Halo. So my parents were like, "From now on, when you go to your friend's house, you cannot play Halo." And I was deeply saddened by this. It's my favorite game, but unknown to them, I still played it when I went over. They had told the parents of my friends to keep an eye out, but we managed to sneak it into the Xbox whenever my parents' friends weren't home. So we played that, and I got introduced to MLG when I got into high school by my two best friends, Nate and Alex. They told me about MLG. Oh, and of course by this time I had already gotten an Xbox 360. I got a 360 in April of 2006, and I got Xbox Live a couple months later, and I started playing Halo 2 on my own at my house. Because by this time, my parents had they lifted the ban that they had placed on me from playing. I never quite figured out why. They just kind of said it was okay for me to start playing again, which was all good. So I started playing at home, and my two friends introduced me to MLG, like I was saying. And they told me about how these pro players would go to events in different cities and earn, tens of thousands of dollars at these events, just playing video games and being really good at them. And I thought, this is like the coolest idea ever, playing video games and earning money. What could be a better career than that, right? So, playing, or rather learning about MLG encouraged me to become a better player overall, and I got really good towards the end of Halo 2's lifespan. And then Halo 3 came out, and I was still into MLG, and my friends and I would go into the MLG playlist and play that a lot. We tried to get our 50s in MLG, but we can never find a fourth person to play with us. So we were always down a person and couldn't really get into it. But then in junior year of high school was when the workload that our teachers were giving us became really, really difficult. I was constantly bogged down with homework, and I didn't have I didn't have much time for video games. So I stopped playing MLG, and I stopped playing a lot of video games in general to focus on school and standardized testing. And I kind of let my skill fall by the wayside. Of course, it was for a good purpose for school. And at that point, when I started playing video games again during the summer after my junior year had ended, I wasn't as good as I had been. And so I just decided to become, more of a casual player. I still cared about, how well I did in the game because it was just naturally a part of me as a gamer that had that had become a part of me through learning about MLG. So, towards the end of Halo 3, I was just having a good time with my friends. And hopefully you guys, no matter what you do in video gaming, you have a good time. That's the most important part of a game. It's not to go into the game and make it your life, unless you're an MLG pro. But the point of a video game is just to have a good time, and I realized that after a while. I still wanted to do well, but after all, it's just a video game. And now I'm playing Reach with Alex and Adam, and I'm looking forward to more good times. But that's just a little bit about myself. And if you guys want to know more or have any questions that you want to ask me, feel free to leave them in the comments. And some questions that I want to ask you guys are, what games do you play besides Halo or Call of Duty or whatever your main game is? What games did you used to play as a kid? What did you start off playing? What are you into besides playing video games? So just think about that, and I'll catch you guys later.